I'm pretty sure you can already guess why I'm excited for this video. It's January, the very first month of 2024. There are so many goals and so many things that I want to do that inevitably I'm really excited to start the year off on the right foot. Today's video is going to be a January monthly reset where I talk about how December went, reflect on the past month and some of the memories that I had, and then I'm going to talk about my goals for January and some of the habits that I want to implement in January. And then usually at the end of these videos, I like to talk about some of the books that I read in the past month. If you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle. I'm 30 years old. I live with my partner and our 2 cats, and I love making videos about growth and personal development. So if you're here for that, then you've definitely come to the right place. I also want to mention that I am neurodivergent, so some of the things that I do or say might not make sense to everybody, and I do struggle with achieving my goals. I have to work a little extra harder than the average person, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna try anyway. So with that being said, let's get into the December reflection. So this is how my December setup looked like, and I do have a template for this setup, although the theme is not going to be relevant anymore since it's January. But in case you wanted to use this template, I do have the template available for free. You could just change the pictures around. And I also have a monthly template, which I just made, that is also going to be free, and it is just like a generic monthly template that is not related to any other template. But just in case you wanted to go check that out anyway, it is completely free and I will link it in the description. So the first thing that I wanted to go over was my December goals. My first goal was to post 1 short per week, and I did not do that at all. I didn't post any shorts in the month of December. I think I was a little bit more occupied with the rest of the goals, which I will talk about in a bit, but yeah, I was basically a little bit too busy to be worrying about shorts. I had different things that I was prioritizing in December, which is not a bad thing. I just didn't feel like I needed to prioritize making shorts. And also, I know it doesn't seem like posting 1 short per week is that much effort, but for me it was, because I think it's just new. Like, I do know how to make 1 short per week, but I don't know how to adopt it into my regular routine. I think that was the problem that I had with posting 1 short per week, and also all of the other things that I wanted to prioritize in December. And speaking of which, my second goal was to post 8 videos. Throughout my YouTube journey, I've actually only posted 1 video per week, which amounted to about like 4 or 5 videos per month. But in the month of December, I kind of wanted to do like a little bit of a sprint, I guess you would say, and post 2 videos per week, which ended up being about 8 videos. I think there was 1 week where I didn't post twice in a week, but it still ended up being 8 videos. I feel like this goal has really paid off, and it's not just the amount of videos that I've posted. I feel like it's a combination of a bunch of different things, like working on my templates, being intentional about the intros that I make, and the content of my videos as well. And now I've actually achieved my goal of getting 1,000 subscribers, which is actually my goal for 2024, but I ended up achieving it in December of 2023, which is so amazing. But anyways, I am very proud of myself for achieving this goal. It has really paid off for me. My next goal was my daily walks goal, and I feel like even though I didn't actually do a daily walk, like I didn't walk every single day of December, I feel like I achieved this goal because I have really started to implement fitness, or at least like going to the gym, into my life. Even if I'm just walking on the treadmill every time I go to the gym, it has kind of become a habit for me. I mean, it's not completely a habit yet, but I feel like it's definitely something that I am slowly integrating into my life, and because of that, I feel like I achieved this goal. We are definitely gonna upgrade this goal in the month of January, and we're gonna keep upgrading this goal every month until it's really a habit. But for now, I am very happy that I've achieved my goal of taking a daily walk. I did have 1 other goal in here, but I've actually rolled it over into the next month because I didn't achieve it, but I feel like I can continue working on it in the month of January, and that is to finish Leet Code Blind 75. If you don't know what Blind 75 or Leet Code 75 is, it's a set of 75 questions that will help you for a coding interview. I think a lot of people do these questions because it's a comprehensive list, like it covers like a lot of subjects in coding and stuff. I really want to improve my coding skills and improve my confidence when it comes to coding, so this is definitely a really important goal that I want to have. To update you on this goal, I have done 26 out of 75. I've basically done all of the easy questions, and it has definitely improved my confidence a little bit, but I do want to finish it in the month of January. So I'm gonna continue working on that in January. And regardless, I am very proud of myself for even starting this goal because I was really intimidated by this goal when I started it. So next, let's get into the habit tracker. And the habits that I wanted to implement were journaling, content creation, Portuguese, leak code, evening tidy, and my daily walk. I did mention this in the December reset, but this was a lot of habits that I wanted to implement. And surprisingly, I did a pretty good job of implementing them. If you wanted to see what it looks like, this is how all of the days look like. You can tell at the beginning of the month that I really started off strong on some of these habits. But then by the end of the month, you know, obviously the holidays came and I was spending time with family. So I didn't work on these habits as much towards the end, which is also kind of why I'm lenient with myself about the daily walk thing, because I just got really busy with family and stuff, and I can't really blame myself for not taking my daily walk. It's like, obviously I'm busy, obviously I want to relax and take it easy and stuff and be kind to myself. So yeah, that's why I checked off my daily walk goal even though I didn't technically do a daily walk. And then if you want to see my habit completion rate, that's how it turned out. So for journaling, I did journaling for 45.2% of the month of December. Content creation I did surprisingly well with, especially since I had to make 8 videos. I stayed pretty consistent with making videos and super proud of myself for that. Leak code, 22.6% of the days. Not that great, but I'm very proud of myself for even starting this goal because, like I said, it was a very intimidating goal. Evening tidy, this is something that I kind of had to do, so I can't really say that I'm proud of myself or not because obviously my apartment has to stay clean for content creation, so this is something that I definitely need to work on, but it's something that I gotta do anyway. Daily walk, 51.6, that's about half of the days in the month of December. 51.6% doesn't sound as good as how I actually feel when it comes to achieving this goal. Like, I feel really good about the progress that I made on doing my daily walks, even though it's not really reflected on here. So I think that's worth noting. And then lastly, I had Portuguese here as a habit, but I wasn't too serious about this. I did mention in my December reset that I wasn't gonna be strict on this habit because I didn't really make a plan for myself. I didn't plan anything out. I was just like, okay, let me see how far I can get on making Portuguese a part of my daily life, and that didn't turn out that well, but obviously if I didn't make a plan for myself, it wasn't gonna happen. Getting into my December reflection, I answered all of these questions. I guess technically they're not really questions, but the first one is I am proud of myself for, first of all, doing leak code problems regardless of whether I finished 75 or not. I probably wrote this in the middle of the month. I was already really proud of myself for even starting this and trying, even though I knew I wasn't gonna really achieve this because it was a lot. I was trying to do like 4 problems a day. And once I got through all of the easy problems, it became much harder for me to continue on with this goal. But regardless, I was very proud of myself for this. The other thing that I was proud of myself for was finishing my yearly template. I had been working on this yearly template for about 2 months. And I'm very glad that so many people, like I said, a lot of people found my video and a lot of people were saying that they could see all of the hard work that I put into it. And I'm just so grateful that my hard work really shined through on that template because I've been working on that for so long. I just hope that I personally, and I hope that a lot of people, especially the neurodivergent people who came to my video, are able to use that template for the rest of the year because I know that it can get a little bit boring and I don't know, there's no more novelty once you've been using it for like a month or 2. So I really hope that people, including myself, can continue to use this template until the end of the year. And if not, that's fine. I just hope that we can, but we're not even close to that yet. I'm just thinking way too far ahead. But next thing was things that work for me. I think that setting a specific time to do my daily walk really helped me so much. I made a point to do my daily walk every time my partner left for work. So when he leaves for work, I tried to leave at the same time as him and go to the gym. And I think that that worked a lot for me. It like kind of took the decision making out of like setting up a time for when to do my daily walk. It's just like, I don't even have to think about it. It's just like, I gotta go once he leaves. So that's definitely something that I want to take into the future. Like in my future habits, I want to set a specific time to do a habit. habit. Things that didn't work for me, the only thing that didn't really work is not being clear about what to do to practice Portuguese. I have worked on this because in the month of January, I really want to make practicing Portuguese a priority. So I did end up working on making like a pseudo plan for practicing Portuguese. So yeah, not being clear about what to do when it comes to some of my habits is gonna hinder me from actually doing them because it's not clear what I want to do, and then I get into like decision fatigue about what to do, and then by the time that I decide what to do, I just don't want to do it anymore. And then the last thing is how I can improve next month. So next month I could probably consider making a schedule or making like a pseudo schedule for practicing Portuguese. I could write down some of the options that I could do for practicing Portuguese, or even just like block out a period of time that I could practice Portuguese, although I don't know how well I can stick to that. And then also plan out what to do for Portuguese. I feel like I kind of said that already. But yeah, I've definitely worked on planning out what to do for Portuguese. I've already decided like a few things that I could do every time that I practice. Lastly, let's get into my December memories, and I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly because these are kind of personal, so I feel like people lose a little bit of interest when I talk about my personal life. But yeah, anyways, the first photo is a photo of my two cats. I talk about my cats all the time, so that's what they look like. This is Luna and this is Atlas, for anyone who's new here, because I know there's a ton of people who are new to my channel. And then here's another picture of Atlas with his tongue sticking out. Sometimes they do this, I don't know why, but it's really cute, and I took a really cute picture of him. Next photo is a photo at my parents' house. This was all of the presents that were in my parents' house when I came there for Christmas. I'm so fortunate to have a family that is this generous. Next photo is a photo of me and Luna, and then the photo after that is a picture of the brand new Heartstopper volume. I'm obsessed with this graphic novel series to the point where I am like giggling, kicking my feet up. This series just like captures what it feels like to fall in love for the first time, especially as like a teenager and stuff. It's doing a really great job of it. So yeah, I love this series. My next photo is a photo of my partner and I's ice skates. We went ice skating for the first time since our second date. So on our second date, we went ice skating, and it's been 2 years, I think, since then, and we finally went ice skating again. And actually my partner got to experience skating on fresh ice for the first time because the Zamboni came through and he was like, do you think we should leave? I was like, no, you have to experience this because it's so smooth, and he really liked it. So yeah. Next photo is actually a screenshot of my YouTube. So this is when I first found out that I had 1K subscribers, and I took a screenshot and posted it to my Instagram. But I thought I would leave this in here because this is a huge milestone for me. 1K subscribers has been a goal of mine for like the past 2-3 years. I did have a booktube channel prior to this channel, and I had that booktube channel for like 2 years, and I only made it up to like 800 subscribers or something. So I'm super proud of myself for starting again, even though it was really hard to start all over. And it's just crazy to me that I made 1K subscribers. Like, I'm still thinking about it right now. Next photo is a photo of A Christmas Carol, the book by Charles Dickens. I've been reading this book every year since 2021, I think. So this is the 3rd year of me reading A Christmas Carol, and I just love this book every time. And I read it on Christmas Day. I think I started reading it on Christmas Eve and I finished it on Christmas Day. So yeah, this is always a really good read for me to get into the Christmas spirit. Last photo is a photo of Luna, and it looks a little bit low quality because I took this as a screenshot from my webcam. So my partner and I stayed overnight with our families on Christmas Eve just so we could wake up on Christmas Day with our families. And so we left our cats at home by themselves, which we tend to do like if it's just 1 or 2 nights. And just randomly, I looked on our security cam and Luna is just staring straight at the camera. I just thought it was hilarious, so I took a screenshot of it. And yeah, that's all of the photos and memories from December 2023. Considering how busy December 2023 was, I feel very proud of myself for achieving at least some of the goals that I set out to do in December. I know I said in my December reset that it was a little bit ambitious for me to try and achieve all of these goals, but even if I made a little bit of progress on them, I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of myself for even trying in the first place, because some of these goals I was just really intimidated by, and honestly, I did not want to do some of them. I didn't even want to start on some of them, and I'm just super proud of myself for even trying. So now that that's done, let's get into our January reset. Welcome welcome to the January reset. I'm very excited to talk about some of the goals and habits that I want to implement in the month of January. But first, I really wanted to talk about my Notion template. So every single month since I've started making these monthly reset videos, I have made a monthly template that I shared with everybody. But this year, I really wanted to reduce the amount of effort that I put into making a monthly template and put that into actually achieving my goals. So I made a yearly template and I shared it with everybody in my 2024 Notion tour video, which I'm sure a lot of you came from. But I did make a monthly template, which is like a standalone template just for a single month. This is just in case you didn't want to download my yearly template, or if you wanted to integrate it into your own setup. Like if you had your own homepage that you just set up the way that you wanted it and you kind of like the way that I set up my monthly template, but you didn't really like how I set up my yearly template, then I have the monthly template for free. Also, I highly suggest that you get my yearly template as soon as possible, because on January 20th, 2024, it will no longer be free. And also the paid version of it, which is discounted right now, is no longer gonna be the amount that it is right now. So highly recommend that you download that as soon as possible. Take advantage of the discount because it's no longer gonna be discounted by January 20th. So get that as soon as possible and we could achieve our goals together with my template. I feel like I did such a horrible job of explaining all of that, but let's get into it anyway. And in case you didn't see my 2024 Notion tour, this is basically how my Notion template looks like. And I also have this 2024 goals page on that template. So yeah, that's how it looks. And speaking of which, let's get into my 2024 goals, because I want to go over this first before we get into my January goals. If we look at my Q1 goals, which is separated in this tab right here, I have improve my confidence in coding, create a meal plan with Alex, start a fitness habit, and learn Portuguese. These are strictly my Q1 goals, and then I also have my year-end goals, which is stuff that I want to work on throughout the year or things that I just want to do by the end of the year. But as far as my Q1 goals go, I feel like I'm starting off on the right foot with them. I know I do have 3 whole months to work on them, but I am definitely making some progress on them. And if you're using my template, I highly suggest that you reference this page every so often. Like for me, I know I'm definitely gonna reference this on a monthly basis. You could actually reference this on a 3-month basis or a quarterly basis, but for me, I do tend to forget what my goals are. So doing this on a monthly basis will keep all of these goals in focus and help you remember what they are. And this will kind of frame what your goals will be for a specific month. Like for example, in the month of January, I definitely want to do things that will contribute to some of these goals. So with that being said, let's talk about my January setup. And this is how it looks like. I went with a Ravenclaw theme. I was kind of struggling what kind of theme I wanted to do, but I for some reason decided on Ravenclaw. I feel like it's a good way to start off the year, and plus I'm a Ravenclaw, so yeah, I don't know why I feel the need to mention that. But anyways, the quote that I have for the month is, even the strongest blizzards start with a single snowflake. I feel like this quote is kind of like the butterfly effect. Like you just never know how far you're gonna get even if you start small. So I think this quote is super powerful. Anyways, I kind of switched my monthly goals in my to-do list. I don't know why I did that. I just feel like I gotta switch things up in order for me to feel some sort of novelty. But my monthly goals are to, first of all, start a cycling habit or get 70% on a cycling habit. A couple of days out of December, I actually tried the stationary bike. I kind of just had this as an alternative just in case I wanted to do something quicker but still got my heart rate up. And I realized that I feel like for me, I think cycling is a little bit better. This is kind of just me observing this about myself, but I feel like I stomp when I walk. And also my shoes are really old and I don't think it's healthy for me to continue walking with these shoes, especially like walking for long distances and stuff. So I think that I want to substitute walking for cycling in the month of January because it will be a lot kinder to my knees and my legs. But I actually want to get 70%. So you saw that last month I got 50% or 51% on my daily walk. This month I really want to bring that up a little bit and do 70%. I feel like that's totally doable. I think that's like 22 days out of 31. I think so. Next is 70% on my Portuguese habit. So like I said, I actually made like a pseudo plan for myself. I definitely want to work on Portuguese at least 30 minutes per day. And I'm not going to be like super strict on myself on what I actually do work on, but yeah, definitely 70%. Let's see how far I can get on this habit. Even if I don't achieve this habit or even the cycling habit, I'm definitely going to be better off by the end of this month than when I started this month for sure. The next goal is the one that I was talking about earlier, which is Leak Code Blind 75. Like I said, I did make some progress on it. 34.2% I guess is 26 out of 75. So yeah, in January, I definitely want to finish the rest of the line 75. Will I be able to finish this? I'm not sure, but I'm definitely gonna make progress on it. So yeah. And then my last goal is to contribute to an open source project. So these two goals actually contribute to my yearly goal of improving my confidence in coding. An open source project is basically a project that anybody can contribute to. So all of the source code is available on the internet and anyone can fix the code. Obviously it like has to be approved. You can't just like do anything to the code, but it's definitely something that counts as experience even if you don't actually have a job as like a software engineer. But yeah, basically this is something that I want to do to gain experience and improve my confidence in coding, because yeah, I definitely want to get a software engineering job in 2024. I feel like the job market is definitely improving, and as the job market improves, I want to improve my resume and definitely improve my coding skills. So yeah. Next is my habit tracker and my habit completion rate. And the habits that I want to do in January is, again, journaling, cycling, as I've said, Portuguese, leak code, and declutter. So declutter is the one that I'm not gonna be too strict on myself about. I feel like having a balance of the ones that I'm setting as a priority and ones that I would like to do, but not really gonna be controlling over myself to do. I feel like that's a good balance of having these kinds of habits. And then we have our completion rate and our reflection and our memories. Same thing as always. One thing that I really want to revisit is how to put this habit completion rate into the monthly analytics section in the 2024 goals page. I feel like I didn't really explain that very well, and I did get a couple of questions asking me how to do that. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that the title of this table is something that you can remember or something that you can type in and easily search. So to do that, you click on this ellipses right here, and then click on layout and then show database title to show the title. And here it says monthly analytics, but I want to change this to January analytics to make it easier for me to find. And then when I'm done with that, I can just hide the database title because I don't really like to see that. Once you've titled that something that's easily searchable, go back into your 2024 goals page and then scroll down to the monthly analytics, and then go to the appropriate month and open the toggle and click into it. Then you want to type in /table and click on table view, not table, but table view. So click on that, and then you can search for the database. And this is why you have to make it easily searchable, because it'll be easier to find it this way. But since I titled it January Analytics, I'm gonna type in January Analytics. And it looks like I have a bunch here because I have a bunch of templates, but my January Analytics that I want to get is right here. I know that because my January setup is located directly in Janelle's world, whereas these ones are located somewhere deeper. But yeah, this one's the one that I am looking for. So I click on this one and it should display the exact table that you want in here. So that's how I did it, and I hope that I explained it better this time. I know that in my 2024 Notion tour I didn't actually demonstrate it, but that's how you do it. So yeah, let me know if you have any more questions like that. I would love to answer them and help you all out. So yeah, this is how my homepage looks after adding all of my monthly goals and tasks in here. They kind of look different, but I like how it stands out from the rest of the homepage. And I kind of wanted to show you my generic monthly template. This is the standalone monthly template. I made this template just in case for anybody who is watching this at a later date and they didn't get my yearly template for free and they didn't want to pay for my yearly template, or they didn't like my yearly template, which is fine. But I made this standalone monthly template. Everything in here is all related to each other. So if you make a goal in here and then you add a task to it, whenever you complete the task, it will make the progress bar 100%. And then actually same thing for the complete button. Whenever you click the checkbox for when it's complete, it will actually make the progress bar 100%. So that's something that I took from my own template and added into this generic monthly template. And then next is the habit tracker. So if you click on all, it should have all of the days of the month. There are 31 days in here, but you do have to fill out all of them. So for the month of January, you just put January 1st to 31st for every single one of these days. And then I like to put the day of the week in here. You probably saw it earlier in my January or my December habit trackers, but that's how I like it to look. And then these habit analytics are related to this. So whenever you check this off, it will up the percentage on the habit analytics. I'm getting really tongue-tied now, but I have 10 habits in here which you can customize to whatever you want, or you can delete them if you don't want to implement that many habits. And then lastly is the reflection and the memories, which is a given. So yeah, if you wanted the generic monthly template, something that you can customize to make it your own, I have that in the description for free. Last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video was all of the books that I read in December of 2023. And for me personally, December was a really great reading month. Considering that it was the holidays and I made so many videos for my YouTube channel, I feel like I read so much even despite that. And all of the books that I read were really good. I mean, I know that I only really wanted to read books that I actually liked, but yeah, they were all really good. So the first book that I read in the month of December was Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the sequel to Fourth Wing, and I kept saying The Fourth Wing, but it's actually called Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing, I think I judged it a little too harshly. I think I'm a little bit traumatized from my experience in the military, and it kind of like took me back into the military. And so I really like just misinterpreted all of it. But since I read it in August, I think I had a little bit of time to reflect on it and realized that I had a lot of fun reading it. So I did end up picking up Iron Flame on the Kindle and I read that, but it was a little bit slow going and I don't think I realized why it was slow going. I think I was having a lot of fun reading it every time I read it, but at the same time I wasn't too excited to pick it back up again, and so it took me a really long time to actually finish it. I think I started reading it in November and ended up finishing it in December. Granted, it is a really long book, but it just took me like a really long time to finish it. I ended up rating this a 4-star, and I'm not sure if I want to stick with 4-star because I rated it a 4-star like right after I finished reading it, and I didn't really give myself enough time to reflect on it. But I rated it a 4-star, and what I had said in my review was that I liked the ending, but I found the book a little bit confusing at times. I think with a long book like that, I don't feel like I should be confused because you have all that time to develop the world and like explain everything to a reader. And so I'm still like a little bit confused as to some of the things that happen. I feel like a lot of it is just like the main character guessing things that are happening, and it kind of expects us to understand like her train of thought, but I don't follow very well. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand what's happening, but you know, eventually I did end up understanding what was happening. But yeah, I think maybe, I don't know. If anyone else has read this book, let me know what you thought of it. I know it's like a really popular book right now, so I would just really love to know. If we have different opinions on this book, then that's fine. I have a lot of friends that really like this book series, but yeah, it's really unfortunate that I read this next book after Iron Flame because it sucks to compare the two, but I feel like being in the same genre of romantasy, which is like the new Goodreads genre right now, I feel like unfortunately I am comparing the two book series because they're kind of like in the same genre. But the next book that I read was A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, which is the third book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So this book is a little bit shorter than Iron Flame, but it's still a pretty big book. I mean, it's 703 pages, and I ended up reading this so fast. I found myself wanting to read more and more of this book, and I found it really exciting. I think it was a really great way to end the series. I know that the next two books in this series are kind of like spin-offs, so I feel like the first 3 books end really nicely. They're like a really good package in themselves. I personally vibe more with the writing style of this series than I did with the Fourth Wing series. I feel like Iron Flame and Fourth Wing have too much of like a modern type of writing style, whereas A Court of Thorns and Roses and this whole series is more like, I don't know, to me it seems more fantastical. It seems more like a fantasy book. Maybe I'm alone in feeling this way because I know that everybody kind of like markets this book as like fairy smut or whatever, but I feel like this book series is kind of like an epic fantasy. For sure it starts off as a romance, like yeah, that's definitely important to the entire series and kind of like is the catalyst to the events that happen. There is so much things in this universe that I feel like it's just so epic. Like to me it's like on par with, I want to say, Lord of the Rings. I know that's like way further than this, but it's kind of like up there as far as like fantasies go. Maybe I am speaking too soon because I haven't finished the rest of the series, but yeah, there's like this epic battle that happens, and most of it is just like this really amazing story and all of this adventure that is a part of it that I just don't understand why everybody kind of just says that it's fairy smut. And saying that it's just a fairy smut romance series kind of takes away from how great it actually is. So I feel like when people actually do end up reading it, they kind of misinterpret it, and I just don't feel like it's good to say that it's just like a fairy smut series, because either they will read it and be like, oh, there's not enough smut in here, or they won't even consider reading it because they'll think it's just that and not something that is on an epic proportion. So yeah, I feel like the A Court of Thorns and Roses series is going to become one of my favorite series of all time, and I'm really excited to start reading more of Sarah J Maas's books, because if this is like this, like I can't imagine how Crescent City and the Throne of Glass series is gonna be, because yeah, it's just amazing. And definitely not just a romance, it's way more than that. I feel like I talked about that so much, but I really loved it and I literally could not put it down. As I said earlier, the next book that I read was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I feel like this book is a really great book to start off with if you really wanted to get into classics. I personally have read a bunch of classics, like most of the popular ones, I feel like. And yeah, this is definitely one of the best ones that I've read so far. Like I said, I read it 3 times and it definitely gets me into the Christmas spirit. Some of it is kind of funny too. Like the way that Scrooge talks to people sometimes is kind of funny to me. And yeah, that just like a great classic. I don't know what else to say about it. And then the next book that I read was A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is the next book in the ACOTAR series. But it is kind of like a spin-off book. It's kind of like a side story kind of book. It follows the POV of a bunch of the characters in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. And I did not realize that this book was going to be like Christmassy, because they are kind of celebrating the winter solstice, which to them is like exchanging presents, which is kind of like Christmas. I did not realize that it was gonna be covering that, and I started this I think on Christmas, so I thought it was perfect to be reading during this time. And yeah, I rated this a 5 stars because I don't know, I just love the vibes of this book series. I think at this point I'm like super biased and I don't really care about the story anymore. I just want to know more about these characters' lives, and yeah, I think that speaks to how good this book series is. And then the last book that I read in December, which is actually the last book that I read in 2023, was Heartstopper Volume 2. I did talk about this series a little bit since I just got the 5th one. I am currently reading through all the rest of them before I read the 5th one because I just want to refresh my memory. Lately, I haven't really been into anything contemporary. I mean, you can kind of see like from the past books that I've read this year that I've been reading mostly fantasy, and this is one of the only contemporary series that I truly enjoy. Contemporary romance doesn't really hit for me, but for some reason, like whatever Alice Oseman is doing, they're doing it correctly, because I just get into that feeling of like falling in love, and like I don't know, it just gets me there. But yeah, anyways, 5 stars for that one, and I think 5 stars for all of these except for Iron Flame, which I think I rated a 4 star. But yeah, that is all of the books that I read in December, and that marks the end of this January reset. I'm not only excited for all of the goals that I will be hopefully achieving in January and 2024, but I'm excited for all of the books that I will be reading in 2024. I really want to make it a priority to read only books that I truly enjoy, and I hope that that is the same for you. If anyone has any suggestions on any future videos for me to make, I would love to know. I know I did get a suggestion on how to do Notion formulas, and I probably will make a video on that, just talking about how to elevate your Notion templates, because I know that not all of the templates that I make is going to be relevant to everybody, and everybody's going to have different lives and different things that they want to track. So I just wanted to share how I make my Notion templates and how I make them not only aesthetic but useful as well. So yeah, let me know if that's something that you're interested in, or if you want me to make a video on anything else. The other suggestion that I got was to make a video on my military experience, which is probably not something that will be relevant to this channel, but if anyone else wants me to talk about it, I can talk about it in a future vlog. Maybe not make it the entire topic of the video, but you know, have it as an aside or whatever. And I think that was all of the suggestions that I got. Please let me know if I'm missing anything, or you know, if you want to suggest anything new. I would love to hear it. And with that being said, I wish you all the best in January. Good luck on achieving your goals. I hope that my templates and my videos help you out or inspire you at the very least. And if you haven't got my yearly template yet, I highly suggest that you download it as soon as possible before I start charging. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single week, and I will see you in my next video.